May 5th, 2015. Just yesterday, in fact. I think it could have been one of the most important days of my life, in a life filled with days that aren't so important. So, the thing is, I've been searching for something for about 10 years. More than that, more than 10 years. I set out on a journey to find something that I lost when I was pretty much a child. I needed clues. I thought, this is me. I'm growing up in the internet era. I would have every possible opportunity to find those all essential clues. How do you find these clues? How do you go find someone that you've lost? Someone you haven't seen since you were a child? Without going complete stalker, I'd have to say that for the last 10 years, sometimes once a month, probably the longest I've gone without is once every 3 months, is I troll the internet endlessly until my fingers are literally hurting. I'm talking about 20-hour long searches, trying to pick up in every clue I knew to go find this person. And what's crazy is I was terrified. I was terrified of finding the answer that I was seeking. What if the answer was not just some random piece of information, but some tragic news? So yesterday, Tuesday, the 5th of May, 2015, was the day. The last clue that I discovered before that day was probably 2004, the first real true clue. 2004 is 2015, that's over 10 years ago that I found the last real clue. And it was that clue that I got back then that finally came to a fruition in 2015. It's pretty crazy how it all came together. Suddenly, a Google search this time around picked up a close piece of information, an important piece of information. Turns out that information may have been there over a year ago. And in fact, when I found the defining piece of information that changed my life in just one day, turns out that information was available for me to find in June last year, so almost a year ago. I could have found it, but my previous searches just didn't turn up on those particular days. Didn't turn up the answer. So, I guess I can't feel that bad. Only 11 months were wasted. 11 months in the you think about your life, 11 months, I mean, as you get older, it's not that much, but when you're younger, 11 months is huge. If you'd gone 11 months without knowing something really important. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was crazy. First, there was a Google search that led me to an area where I might find this person. And that was great. So I started searching. I took the clue from 2004. I applied it to this new area that gave me the clue. Problem is when people change their names, it's hard. You know, not everyone puts their first and middle name out there, and that's all you're going on in case. And I don't even know if that person had changed their name. Turns out they had. Thankfully, I know what you guys are thinking, that I'm a stalker. I guess I'm just looking for hope. That's all I'm looking for at the moment. I don't think this person would care if I knew where they were. I'm just glad they're alive. And when I found out, I mean, this moment that's come after 10, 12 years, longer. I was emotional. I was more emotional than I ever had about a human thing, you know? More emotional. The only other thing I've been more emotional is about my dog dying since then. And yet I was still numb. Still numb to the reaction. First off, I found a Facebook page that had photos on it, and I trawled through them. But this wasn't just one random site. I trawled through hundreds of sites in that area to find an image that would give me a clue. Sure enough, in one image, if you download it and zoomed in, thankfully it was reasonably high, well, you could find a small name on the back of a wall of a little facility, and that was it. That was it. That was the clue that connected the clue from 2004. And then I kept going through the image, and suddenly there she was, or at least the person that could be her. But if you haven't seen someone since they were a child, well over 10 years ago, you're not guaranteed to immediately recognize them. People change, they become adults, their features change. So I was looking at this person looking deep into her face and going, are these the features that I remember? And sure enough, the more I looked, yes, it had to be her. It had to be her. And the more I looked, it was her. I'm sure of it. I found her. She was alive. I can't believe it. I'd been living in fear of finding out this answer for 10 years. And all it was just a couple of tiny images in this lost corner of the internet that gave me the clue. She was leading a completely different life to the one we spoke of when we were children. Young kids. I had clues that maybe she had gone after that life, but I just didn't quite expect it. And it seems she was settled there. She looked happy. So I didn't have to worry anymore. And so yesterday, May 5th, 2015, this is a new period of my life. a whole new period. I'd almost put my life on hold looking for this piece of information, and now I was as close to it as I've ever been in that time. It's amazing. I'm sure now something crazy is going to happen. I'm sure all the world's going to fall apart on me because suddenly I found what I was there to see. There is some hope. May 5th, 2015. A new beginning.